What a joy to see so many generations of Presby youth. Even before my time, it was a piece of recommendation. It was recommended to me in seminary, when you come into a church for the first year or so, don't move any of the furniture. So there's reasons for the traditions and the events and the timing that Presby has. And it's been a joy in my first year to learn those just as much as it's been a joy to learn all of the youth and to learn all of the adults. But there wasn't any advice about not adding furniture. So this children and youth-led service is new because in churches that I've served before, it's been such a joy. And it works so well because of the fact that this is such an intergenerational community that has valued children for decades. So I wanted to take some time to allow the youth to bring worship, to bring the liturgy, prayers, scripture, and as well to bring our sermons. So we have Joji Takeno and Linus Kong and Noah Pomren who are going to preach for you. They've prepared very well, and I'm very proud of them. May God bless the hearing of the word. Take it away, guys.
Good morning. So as you probably saw from the slideshow that Keoki made, is we went to Soundview Camp a week ago. So during this camp, we talked a lot about connections. That was what Byron was kind of focusing on. These connections were connections with God, connections with peers, and connections with the environment around us. So there were these examine prayers that Byron had us do. These examine prayers would be locations where we just sat with our thoughts with a particular prompt or a word that we should think about. So there were four of these examine prayers. The first one was gratitude. This was what we were thankful for. This is what we were grateful for that we already had. The second one was consolation, which was ways that we feel close with God and with our neighbor. The third one was desolation, which is when we feel distant from God or our neighbor. And the last one was how to move forward with God. How can you take action with God tomorrow? A situation where during the examine prayers, I thought about this particular situation that happened to me a couple weeks ago. I play tennis. I play tennis 2 times a week, every week. And so there's this one situation where there's this big misunderstanding. I was on the court, and the coach told me to get off the court. And he yelled at me for a little bit, and he eventually sent me home. It was just this big misunderstanding, and when I was going home, I just felt so demotivated. I got kicked off because of a big misunderstanding that really shouldn't have escalated that to be that big. I was, frankly, very upset at the guy because I thought, well, I didn't really do anything wrong, but he didn't feel the same. And I feel like the way that I responded was a lot different, was more different than how I would have responded earlier. There's this thing called the Golden Rule, and this is what Abraham was preaching about, which was love your neighbor as you should love yourself, right? Treat others how you want to be treated. And over time, I've been trying to fix my mindset about, just being kind to people in general. And this was one of the situations where it was hard to be kind to someone because I felt that they didn't treat me as I should be treated. But I came back the next week and I played tennis, even though the guy told me to quit playing tennis, and he said that I didn't have the right mentality to keep enjoying the sport. And after I came back, I tried to treat him with more respect, even though I felt like he didn't deserve the respect, but I tried to change my mindset into giving him the respect that he wanted. And a couple of days ago, I got moved up to varsity because of this respect. But I feel like that wasn't really my main focus. Moving up, I just wanted to change his mindset about me. Why was I, kicked off the court? I felt like that wasn't really fair, but I still had to treat him with respect. So, I don't know, my overall thing is that even though it might be hard to build connections with someone, right? Building a deeper understanding of their character, it's sometimes nice to overlook some things and just be kind to someone on a regular basis. And so another concept that I've been entertaining is instinctually treating people with kindness. A lot of people here at Presby, a lot of you guys are really good at doing this, right? When a newcomer comes, you're very kind and you're very nice to them regardless of how your day's going, which I really admire. And it's really hard for me to start doing that after someone has done something wrong, right? Or after someone has after I have a certain prejudice about someone. It's hard to think kindly about someone after something has happened. But I feel like the main message that I'm trying to convey here is that I suggest trying to be kind to someone regardless of the way that they treat you. It's a lot harder to do, but I feel like it's a lot more rewarding. You feel a lot better about yourself, and you just feel like you brighten their day by being kind right off the bat. And it's just a really good habit to have, to just, be kind to everybody that you meet. All right.
Good morning. I want to first start off by talking about the scripture. Thank you, Abraham, as well about that. So how I interpret this was, it seems that a law enforcer is trying to see how Jesus will respond to the question, what is the most important commandment? Jesus then responds something along the lines of, I'm going to paraphrase here. Love your Lord with all your soul, your body, and your mind. How I see this is honor God in everything you do and have pride in what you do and in all aspects and know that God has a plan for you. Now, I don't know if this is accurate to how other people see it. This is just how I see it. The second part of the passage talks about the second most important rule. Love your neighbor as you would love yourself. Now, I know Joji talked about the golden rule, and I was going to talk about it too. Meaning, if you were in the same situation, but on the other side, would you enjoy the treatment you were receiving? You gotta really think about that. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about how this passage connects to my own life and how I personally honor God. Now, if you didn't know, I love music. Music, to me, is life, honestly. It's one of my favorite things to participate and listen in. It's really great. It's there whenever you need it. Now, I want to give some background information. My love for music truly sprouted back in 6th grade. I had just entered middle school. I didn't know what I wanted to do to occupy myself because I didn't really have any hobbies. Most of the time I wasn't doing a lot of stuff. It was mostly just all the same thing. And then that all changed when I met my 6th grade music teacher, Mr. Sund. He taught me a lot, not just in music, but in life. He was a teacher that sparked something in me which made me want to play and pursue music. It was that same grade that I found the genre of music that I love playing best, jazz. Seeing my middle school jazz band was another great inspiration of mine. Then I remember about 2 years later in 8th grade, being in the same jazz band I adored greatly. And I remember thinking, and to this day still think, I want to be the one that inspires the ones under me to continue to work hard, not just in music, but in life. So I found I wanted to be a good example towards the future who would eventually replace me. It was almost a full circle moment for me. My instrument is the trumpet. It always has been. The 6.5 feet of brass bent expertly taught me so many things and made me go through so many things. Frustration, satisfaction, joy. It's not easy to play, but I will say it's that if it's played correctly, it can make people cry. This thing has brought me so much joy, and it's just another way I feel God working through me. On the other side, I really enjoy listening to music. Some musical artists I really enjoy are the great Freddie Hubbard, Dizzy Gillespie, local legends Quincy Jones, Charlie Parker, and the late great Sonny Rollins, R.I.P. Of course, there are many more, but those are just a few. It is something that, like I said, just to reiterate, something that calms me when I need it, and I think it's just God's creation that's gifted to us. Now, what I want you guys to take away from this short little message I had was find your passion. What do you enjoy doing in life? How will you honor God? Thank you.
Good morning, Presby. My name is Noah, and I'll be the last youth preacher for today's service. First, I want to thank Pastor Byron for setting up all the complex logistics for the service and also helping me brainstorm for this message. Okay, so over the youth retreat we had last weekend, we practiced a type of prayer called the examen prayer, and Joji explained most of that already. But I wanted to focus on the fact that everyone at the retreat chose a different location to do their prayers. I consistently went out to the porch in the cabin that we were staying to look at the scenery while I prayed. And the choice to do my examen prayers outside, it made me realize how perfect the Soundview Woods were for Presby retreats. Surrounded by trees and nature, made it easy to focus on praying and reflection. And the campgrounds, beach, and farm, they were all great locations to walk around and hang out. One more thing happened to cement my realization. On the way down the hill to get to the building where we ate meals, I saw these shafts of light emerging from the trees behind me in the sunset. I thought it looked sort of like a cross made of light shining through the trees, so I took a picture of it. Okay, there you go. I think this was also shown on the video with all the pictures. So yeah, speaking of the cross, that was the other big focus of the retreat. Instead of its important representation of Jesus' sacrificial death for our sin, which is often what it's recognized for, we focused on the physical intersection of the vertical and horizontal parts of the cross. The two beams intersect at a point in the middle. There are many ideas this could represent. It could be God and humanity, or heaven and earth. What came to mind for me was Christ and creation, from being surrounded by nature in Soundview. I think the picture of the trees perfectly illustrates this idea of Christ and his creation intersecting into one form. The light intersecting with the nature, or the photograph intersecting with the physical place. After I took the picture, I thought about what I wanted to do for this sermon. The thing I knew I had to do from the start was creatively portray the image in some way. I could animate it using code, or remix it through vector art. Thinking about that helped me realize that creativity itself is a form of worship, and it's probably my favorite form. So, after the retreat, I got to work writing the sermon and thinking about what kind of art to create to help visualize this intersection. Because of my limited time frame until the sermon, I made a vector illustration inspired by the original photo. I tried to highlight the cross shape a bit more with the lighting and composition, but it's also left mostly up to interpretation. This art also creates another connection between digital and physical, illustrating a natural scene with technology. Creating it truly did feel like a form of worship. Even though I was a bit worried it wouldn't turn out well, the composition came together smoothly in under an hour on my school laptop. Not only God's creation could intersect on the cross with Christ, human creations made with worship can do the same. And even better, by creating, we're actively following the greatest commandment ourselves. We're using our hearts, beings, minds, and strength to worship God just through different mediums. By sharing these with others, we also share that to our neighbors. So, I encourage everyone to try creating something in worship. To get inspiration, you could surround yourself with nature and God's creation, or observe others' makings. It also doesn't matter if you make it in a minute, an hour, or a year, just that you're actively following your and God's intentions. And finally, by sharing it with someone, you are creatively following the greatest commandment. Thank you.